Hello, Mand. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thank you, Laura, for inviting me.
We're going to be talking about the topic of well-being. We've had many conversations before about this over the years in many different guises. So one of the things I'm wanting to do is speak to those people that I know and love and talk about this vast topic. It's World Wellbeing Week coming up on the 21st of June, and that runs for 10 days. And I just thought that was a great opportunity to be having some of these conversations, to learn more about well-being in the context of other people's lives, but also to bring it into the forefront of those people that are watching their minds, so that they can do some reflecting and consider whether they want to be doing a little bit more or something different to help them. Let's just start off with, if I can ask you to share a little bit about who you are, so the lovely people watching know a little bit about you.
Hi, I'm Mandy. I live in Wolverhampton, and I'm a social worker, and I've been a social worker for 9 years now.
Wow.
So that's been a challenge, mainly in older adults, but I'm currently in learning disabilities. And then I met Laura because I was thinking about this. I thought, I met Laura in 1999.
Wow, sounds like a very long time ago.
I know. So I was thinking, oh my God, it's been like 22 years, I think.
Wow. Long time.
I know. So, yeah. What more can I say? I go to the gym, try to go to the gym regularly. And I think I want to love food.
Good. Two good things to actually love. And I'm sure we're going to speak a little bit more about that as we continue with the conversation. So let me ask you then, well-being. What does that word conjure up for you?
I think well-being means to me is looking after myself, making sure that my needs are met, that I'm happy, that I'm full of energy, that I'm meeting my needs and doing what is best for me.
Okay.
Which can sound a little bit selfish, but it's not. I don't think looking after yourself, obviously being women as well, we kind of think we have to put everybody else first and ourselves last. But it's not selfish to meet your own needs and make sure you're in a good place.
Yeah.
Because then you can be there for other people. But the other biggest thing about well-being is self-awareness.
Okay.
It's actually being aware of what you actually need to do for yourself, what your needs are, because if you don't know what your needs are, then how can you then look after yourself?
Yeah, very true. Yeah, absolutely. Wow. So there too, that really resonates with me, what you said. I just want to, let's just delve into a little bit of that then, because again, them in themselves as two separate topics are huge, aren't they? So self-awareness part then, have you always known what needs you have? And
No, I think the only time I ever became aware was when I was drained and became ill.
Okay.
And that was the only time where that I thought, I've got to take a step back. And then I didn't understand why I kept on getting ill. I had loads of migraines, loads of stomach issues, loads of and I just felt tired all the time. And
right.
So no, I wasn't aware. So my body then I think that's the only way your body, if you don't actually listen to your body and you're not aware of what the signals your body's sending you, then you end up at a point where you're ill.
Yeah, because your body is crying out, right, if you're not listening, I'm going to make you listen to me. And that's the manifestation in the physical body, do you think?
Yeah, it is. And then it's kind of then thinking, all right, I've got to take a step back now and actually look at the patterns of that, because you do end up being in a cycle, don't you?
Yeah.
You get ill, then you rest, you look after yourself a bit, then you get back on track, and then you carry on doing everything that you were doing before.
Yeah.
You end up being ill again.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So as you say, you recognised that there was a pattern for you, and you said that the real self-awareness came when you had become ill and when you were drained. So was this quite far down the line for you? Had this happened quite a few times before?
Oh God, yeah, it's probably been happening probably not all my life. Because I've suffered with migraines and everything from like a young age and everything else, and then it was only that I'll probably say in the past 4 or 5 years I've actually, probably mainly in the last 3 years mainly, that I've really started to work on trying to understand myself and trying to be self-aware, which it's really hard.
It is, I agree,
Really, it's like a daily thing. You have to consciously wake up. And do you know what, I still don't do it now. I'll have a couple of days where I'm really self-aware, and then I think everybody will probably do this, you get into that sense of, oh yeah, I've been doing it for a few days. So, I'm just automatically going to do it, and then you fall back into the old patterns of doing things. Absolutely. And not being self-aware.
Yeah. And I agree. I think this is going to resonate with so many people, and it resonates with me as well. So when you notice that happening, that you've been self-aware, and we're going to come on in a little bit talking about what does contribute towards your well-being. But when you notice that there are then those days where you're not doing those things, I'm curious about how are you responding to yourself? How do you respond to yourself when you're not doing those things that rationally and logically we know help us, but we're not doing them?
No, it's just, I think we kind of get ourselves into that false sense of, oh yeah, and I do it with the gym as well. Oh yeah, I'm not really done really well for a few days, and then it's like, I don't know what it is, then you just switch back. But then I know on the days that I've been self-aware, I've had really good days. But then on the days when I haven't been self-aware, I've ended up with loads of mind chatter, and you start then going down the and obviously because my job's really stressful as well, you kind of start going down the route and feeling really, really stressed, and you just can't see your way out. Sometimes. So I know I need to work on getting myself into a better place.
No, I understand that. And the mind chatter.
Oh God, yeah.
The mind chatter. We could talk for days about this.
It's like, you need the biscuit. Go on. You don't want to go to the gym. You just want to relax. And you know what? You could talk yourself into so many things. And then deep down, it's like, you can say, oh, I can miss the gym today, or I can miss, or I'm going to have this takeout because, I deserve to have this takeout because I've been doing really well and all the rest of it. But then when that's like one occasion, fair enough. And, but then when it carries on for like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then it's kind of, then you're not feeling your best and you're feeling lethargic and you're feeling crap.
Yeah.
So the mind.
Yeah, the mind's really powerful. So I'm curious about, how has it been for you over the last year? Let's just talk about kind of throughout the pandemic. How has your well-being been impacted, would you say?
I think it's probably like a lot of people, a roller coaster. Mm-hmm. So, with the first lockdown, it was a bit of a novelty, wasn't it? Like, I've got all this time at home, work from home, or, and then it kind of goes to, I'm missing the gym. I'm not really able to do the things that I want to do. So you just literally just feeling really down on yourself. And then you do end up reaching for a packet of biscuits, and you do start going back into your habits of not eating properly, not eating, just eating all the stuff that I know that I shouldn't be eating because it doesn't make me feel good.
Yeah.
So it's just been a lot of, literally lots of ups and downs, and it's like you don't know if you're coming or going.
And how was work throughout that period for you?
So I had a couple of jobs. So a couple of the jobs were good because I was out of the house and I was working in the hospital. So then I guess I didn't really feel that much difference last year.
Okay.
But then when I got the job where I'm working from home doing assessments and stuff, then I think that's when it really affected me because I wasn't really going out. So you sat at home in front of your laptop.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to just say, I'm going to go and make myself a drink and grab a few biscuits, come back, and then go and get some crisps. And then when I'm just feeding myself all the stuff that I know deep down inside isn't making me happy.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you what contributes to your well-being. So what I'm hearing so far is that there's something about, the foods that you eat, the things that make you feel good, that help your body and mind as well, and also those things that don't, with the balance of maybe a takeout every now and then, but not if it's all the time. And then you also mentioned about the gym, about that side of things being important to you. So what else for you makes you a well-being, I guess?
Meditation.
Okay.
What I've got to say, meditation, which I've started doing again for the past week, every morning and at night. And it calms your mind and it calms the chatter and it helps you to focus and remain calm. If anything's going off at work, I can say, do you know what, I can do it, doesn't matter, I can sort whatever's going to come my way, I can do it. So for me, a lot of meditation and yoga. Stretching mainly. I only do a little bit of yoga, but about 10 minutes.
that can make a difference, I think. And I think our brains, aren't they? They're very much black and white. They're like, you go all out or you don't do it. But there's so much research that suggests these slight changes, these habits that we can build and integrate into our maybe daily, weekly lives can really contribute overall to our well-being. And so that stretching and the yoga, I did a 15-minute yoga, I think the app was Down Dog app, did a 15-minute really gentle yoga session. It was only 15 minutes, but I knew, one, that probably my concentration, that's where I was at the moment. I didn't want to do a longer one. But two, actually my body, with all of the sitting that I have been doing as well, with the working from home on the laptop, and I knew that I just needed to have that nurturing, gentle session, short periods of time, first of all, to build up. So I think sometimes we can think, oh, well, I've only got 10 minutes. So there's no point me going outside. There's no point going for a walk. There's no point doing the stretching. There's no point, whatever it is. But it can make a difference, can't it?
No, it does, because the 10 minutes in the morning, I mean, I found this new meditation. I was listening to this podcast last week.
Yeah.
And I got really struggling last week because it was a tough week. And I knew that. I thought I really got to make some changes, because I thought if I don't, I'm just going to end up not in a good place.
Yeah.
So found this, and it's a yoga meditation. So literally, you can do it whilst you're in bed.
Right.
You're just lying there, and it's called Yoga Nidra.
Oh, I've heard.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like literally, I did 10 minutes, and the first one I ever did. And after the 10 minutes, I felt like I'd had like the most amazing sleep.
Wow.
Refreshed. So then I thought, you know what, I'm going to start doing this every morning before I get out of bed. Yeah. Stick my earphones in, 10 minutes. And it really makes a difference, because it resets your nervous system and stuff. And
yeah,
so it just calms your mind down. And that's only 10 minutes.
Yeah. So for you then, the meditation, the stretching, sometimes a bit of yoga, that's all helping towards your well-being as well. And you've spoken about your job, and I imagine, wow, yeah, I imagine that there's a lot that you take on being a social worker. So what are the strategies that you have in place to help you? Because I imagine there must be something here around the protection is what's coming to mind. I don't necessarily mean a pushing away, but I just mean that, you know, the amount that you're having to take on when you are.
Yeah, because I do tend to absorb a lot of negative energies.
Yeah.
I don't know people. So I know and I'm not the best at I do try to, you know, say like a protection prayer in the morning and stuff to kind of, you know, put a bubble around me and stuff, because otherwise I will absorb everything that's going on, and then I end up taking it on as if it's my own.
Yes.
And then it ends up festering.
Yeah.
So it is very much about, I guess, having boundaries in place.
Yeah.
And just making sure that, you know what, when you go to work, you're doing the best that you can do. And you can only do what you can do in your job. You know, I'm really bad at, I put a lot of pressure on myself. I know I do, because I always want to do the best for all of my clients. And it's another thing I'm working on, is I have a very high expectation of myself when it comes to work.
Yeah.
And I always want to do everything the right way, and I want to make sure that everything's done correctly. And then if I've in my mind I've got it that I need to get this assessment typed up by a certain time, or a certain day, and then if I haven't got it done because other things have happened which are out of my control, then I'm really like hard on myself for it. So I think and then obviously then that triggers off the negative thought patterns and everything else, and then it's kind of, which is why with the meditation and the stretching and having boundaries and even journaling as well helps to just free your mind, because you consume so much data in a day.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's even, and you consume so much data in work, then you've got all of the stuff that's happening outside of work, and especially with the environment and with the situation that we've all been dealing with over the last, you know, over a year now, that we have to find our own way of deciding which of that data we allow in. And some of it, I suppose, is going to come in anyway, isn't it? So then it's, well, how do we recognise? And for me, it comes right back to that self-awareness piece that you were talking about at the start. So how do we know that we're being impacted by people, by the, things that are happening in the world, even kind of family, the work context, the news that well, if we're not self-aware, we're not going to be realising the impact that has until maybe, not it's too late, but we're quite far down the road and then maybe something happens.
It's true. And I think this is why I try not to watch the news. Because I just find it depressing. And I'm thinking, and I've got to protect myself.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't protect yourself, no one's going to do it for you.
Yeah.
Are they?
No.
And I was going to go into the Matrix analogy then, but I thought I won't.
Go on, share.
Only because with the Matrix, because I think it's very much, is it Morpheus?
Yes.
Is it Morpheus, yeah, when he gives, I've forgotten, was it Neo? When he gives him the option of the pill.
You know exactly what you're talking about here.
He gives him the option of the pills.
Yes.
And I can't remember which is so basically the one pill, he can go back to basically living his life, but on autopilot, doing what he's always done and carrying on with his life.
Yeah.
Or he can take the other pill where he actually wakes up and realises what's actually going on.
Yeah.
And I think that's a self-awareness, isn't it? For me, that's how I take it. He's taken that pill and he's woken up like, I didn't realise all of this stuff's been affecting me, and now I can make those changes.
Yeah. And it's not easy though, is it?
No. It's, you know what? I'm probably going to be doing this for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But I know that what I'm doing is the best thing for me.
Yeah.
And it all comes back down to you putting yourself first, isn't it?
Yeah. So let's talk about that then, because when I asked you about well-being, what is that to you? And you said about the self-awareness, and you also said it's about getting your needs met. Basically putting yourself first. And then you said quite quickly, and it's not selfish, because you're right, when people think of putting their needs first, there is an association with that this is being selfish, and that word, and the connotation with it is that it's a negative, it's a negative thing. And you can change it, okay, it means self-care, or whatever the reframing of that is. And you mentioned about the perhaps being a woman, and kind of the responsibilities, and also the stereotyping and the stigma that comes with it. So how do you do that then? Or how did you start to, once that self-awareness was there? Because we can have self-awareness, right? We can know. The next part, which can be as difficult, if not harder, than being courageous and taking action, whether it's voicing it or through your behaviour, of how are you putting your needs first?
I think when I first started realising, well, to be honest with you, a couple of my friends always used to say to me, you're always doing everything for everybody else, and you're always like, you don't really do anything for yourself. Then I started going to the gym, because the gym's something that's for me. I know that makes me happy, and I feel great after I go. Yeah. Obviously, whilst I'm there, I don't feel it sometimes. And like today, I wanted to give up halfway through, and I was like, no, don't do it. Just come on, you could do it.
Yeah.
But then when you actually sit with yourself, because I think quite a lot of people, myself included, like I can say, yeah, I know what I want, I know, blah, blah, blah. But when you actually sit down with yourself and you actually like write questions like, all right, so what do you like to do? Well, you're asking yourself questions. I found it so hard to answer those questions.
Right.
Because I was thinking, oh, I don't really, because my mind's always been on everyone else.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then you're a bit like, oh, I don't, that took a bit of time. But then when you start putting in boundaries and making changes of, all right then, if somebody's going to ask me to do something, if I'm not feeling up to doing it, or I want to do it on another day, or, you know, and then especially like within my family, it was taken a little bit like, well, hang on, what's going on here?
Right.
Why is she being like this?
Because you're not normally like this. You're behaving in a completely different way to the way that you have been.
So it was then like trying to explain it to my mum and to my sister and like, you know, people, and if I'm honest with you, since I've made those changes, they've kind of inadvertently made changes themselves.
Right.
So it's better.
Wow, that's amazing, isn't it?
They actually like, you know, ask, oh, you know, are you all right to do this? Or whereas before it was kind of expected of me.
Yeah.
So it has changed. It's took a few years. It's not a lot overnight. Yeah. But I think whenever change happens, it's uncomfortable, and you're thinking, oh God, I don't really want to do it. And then, but you know, when you get through to the other side, it's going to be so much better because we're so comfortable being, I guess it's being the way other people see us. You know, I don't know if that's the right way to say it. But yeah, so it was, but it's took a long time for me to, I mean, I'm still learning. Still learning about myself, but I feel like I'm in a better place now compared to how I was probably about 3 years ago.
And what would you say is the benefit for you personally of that growth, I guess, you've experienced in terms of putting your needs first, as you say, those conversations with friends and family members? What would you say has been the impact on you?
I think for me, I'm not as drained as much as I think before. I was literally running on empty all the time.
Okay.
Because I was rushing around doing everything for everyone else. And then not having anything left for myself. Yeah. So for me, it's having that time for me and looking after myself, and so I'm not drained as much as I used to be.
which is an absolute bonus, isn't it? Especially when you're doing the wonderful work that you do. So, okay, let's wrap it up on the final question then, which is, if you could give a bit of advice to somebody that is knowing that there are aspects of their well-being that they're really happy with, but there are maybe some, maybe it's around, the getting the needs met, or maybe it's, what I really, really liked is when you were saying that, asking yourself, what do I enjoy, what do I do, and you found it really difficult to answer that. I think sometimes we lose ourselves, don't we? We lose who we are, and we've got to re-find out who we are. So what kind of tip or what advice would you give to somebody who is perhaps wanting to just explore that a bit more?
Oh God, I've got too many things going.
Sorry, you've already shared so much as well.
I'd probably say to me, because I think the first thing that I ever did to find out who I was and what I wanted to do, I would probably say journal and ask yourself questions.
Okay.
Because by asking yourself questions, you know, then that's how, and answering them honestly, and that's how you then start to get to working out and realising, hang on a minute, I've been neglecting myself.
Right.
And then from that you can then build on it, can't you? And then I guess looking at your life from a different perspective. So I'll probably say, yeah, journaling.
That's a fantastic bit of advice, that tuning into self rather than that tuning out and noticing everything else that's going on outside of us, but that tuning in and getting to know yourself better. Lovely. Thank you so much for taking the time today. I've really enjoyed our conversations, and I've taken a huge amount from this conversation, so thank you so much.
Thank you, Laura. I've really enjoyed it too.
Good. We may have to do it again then. Okay, take care. I'll catch up with you soon.
All right, take care.
Thank you.